You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 623, recorded June 6th, 2017. Tonight, brought to you by CravenSpeed.com, MotoringStripes.com, and OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. It's OutMotoring.com. Started. Hey everybody, it's DB in Arizona with a brand new episode of the world famous White Roof Radio. Everybody's back. We're back from the Detroit Dune Spring Cleanup Party. We're back from Anviv. We're back from Brian did some bicycle race or some shit. I don't remember. We're back from all the places. We are actually going to talk about Mini Cooper stuff. If you are a patron, you are a cool member of the Cool Kids Club. We actually have some really fun Apple talk going on over at the Patreon community right now. Go over there.
Back to WWDC.
That's right, because we're all back from WWDC because, you know, we were all there for that too or something. Not really, but anyway.
Alex is the only one who was close.
Alex was close-ish, and he was really revved up. You guys just go check that out. So we have that. We have a lot of Mini Cooper stuff we're going to talk about. We have a new designer, and a lot of people are very upset that it wasn't Frank Steffensen. We're going to talk about that. We have sales numbers just to make Alex happy. We're going to talk about that, and I'm hopeful we will see. We might get a live update from our girl Crazy Susan on the current mileage of her Mini Cooper with the CVT transmission.
Although it is late.
Mini Zilla. It is late on the East Coast, but Crazy Susan, she might come through.
She's excited because she's got a CVT with over 100,000 miles on it. The original.
She has a zillion miles on her CVT Mini Cooper. So I'm hoping we hear back from her to find out how many miles are still on Mini Zilla. Stay tuned. Okay, drama's over. We had all that. Plus whatever else we talk about. I think we're going to talk about Mini bringing back the R53 or something ridiculous. I don't know. Todd had some crazy harebrained idea.
No, we're not talking about that. No.
Okay, then let's not do that. Let's before we get to any of this, let's go and pay some bills. I want to remind you guys about our friends over at Outmotoring. Outmotoring.com still having a big sale. Up to 64% off on a whole bunch of stuff. Just click over there and check it all out. Don't forget, before you do anything, if you haven't done this already, I want you to click on I want you to actually sign up for the email newsletter. It's right there at the top of the page. You got to do that first. You can't shop at outmotoring.com unless you belong to the newsletter club. What that does is you get on the newsletter mailing list, and Aaron, because he's cool like that, he pays you to be on the email newsletter list with a 5% discount code with every email that he sends out. So it's not like you're giving him your email address. He is paying you a 5% coupon with every email that you receive for use of your email address, which I think is really nice. Todd, put those commas back in your pocket. That's just rude.
Sorry.
Good grief. Anyway, go over to outmotoring.com because, you know, we still have cars and coffee events. It's summertime. You live west of the Rockies. You got dust. You got dirt. You got all the nasty, crazy monsoon weather that's going to be hitting Arizona and Nevada here pretty soon. Full-line car care products for you over at outmotoring.com. Not only that, but all the personal effects. You know, the T-shirts, the hats, the shirts, watches, all those things, all available for you over at outmotoring.com. And if you need a repair, you fancy yourself a DIY guy, or, you know, it doesn't matter. You just want to fix something on your car. You lost a piece of plastic trim in the car wash or something. Go over to outmotoring.com. Outmotoring is better than the dealer parts desk. He's got all the parts. He's got them now. He doesn't have to order them because he's already got them on a shelf, right? So it's going to take just as long to get it from Aaron, and he's probably going to sell it to you for the same price, probably even a little bit cheaper, even cheaper still if you use your 5% discount code. Just saying. Outmotoring.com. Do all that. Get all the things. Do all the things. Right? That's our friends over at Outmotoring. Outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and steering wheel trim. That's outmotoring.com. Yeah, I don't even look at Slack when I'm doing an ad. Come on, fellas. I've been doing this for far too long. Good grief. News music. Maestro.
Boom.
Everybody says,
wow.
Chad gets the win for news music. So we talked.
It is the least porn news this week. It
is.
Year.
So we talked last time we met. We did talk about the rumor of Frank Steffensen possibly returning to lead Mini Design. Right?
Well, he said no, and Gabe Bridger said yes. So there you go.
That stated that stayed in the rumor category and was wrong.
And it was wrong, as we figured. And
Thank you, German press.
and to hurry up and squash any further rumors that maybe, Gabe got the job, Mini went ahead and made an announcement on who the new head of Mini Design actually will be, and it's Oliver Heimler from the BMW Design Works in California.
Yes, and Oliver Heimler has been with BMW Design Works
since 2000.
17 years. Yeah, he's been working for BMW for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he was advanced designer. I don't know what that means. BMW AG. Stayed in Germany until 2013. And then, actually 2016.
Right.
And then he became president of Design Works in September 2016. So less than a year ago.
Right.
10 months ago.
Here's my problem with this. And
I have many problems with this, and it's the same problem that the whole internet has with this guy.
Yeah, it's here. Let me look back and see. I'm trying to pull up the quote here.
I don't think this guy has any exterior design experience.
He doesn't.
He's done a lot of interior design.
I mean, it doesn't appear so, right? Like I tried to look for like anything related to his portfolio online. I couldn't find anything. So based on the LinkedIn descriptions that I see of his jobs, like the job titles, like it seems that he's mostly been focusing on interior design. Granted, the interior of BMWs and Minis look pretty good from my perspective. So that's a good thing, right? But as I said to the team, that's my theory, and again, I could be completely wrong. And as always, as we say in those cases, like if there's someone from Mini or even a tipster that want to debunk everything that we're going to say here, they're more than welcome to let us know. What I think is happening is that this Oliver Heimler was probably, sorry if I mispronounced the name, was probably not BMW's first choice. Probably not the second or even the third choice, if you want my opinion. The reason being is that he was
no disrespect to Mr. Heimler, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. No disrespect at all. And he was appointed director of Design Works 10 months ago, and so I don't think there is anything that he may have done during a 10 months period that made him like all of a sudden the right choice to be the head of design at Mini, right? And so you could have announced him like 10 months ago. You could have pretty much announced him like 10 months ago, and it would have made a difference, right? Like as far as his experience goes, I think I could be wrong again. Right. And so what I think happened is that they tried to get maybe Frank Stevenson or maybe someone of that caliber, and they couldn't get that person maybe for several reasons. First of all, like if you're comparing Stevenson to Von Oudonk, I think you have a guy that is more successful, or at least that have proven to be successful in more different places than the head of design at BMW right now. Mm-hmm. And that could be a problem, right? Like you would have someone in I'm using quote unquote, the lower brand, in the BMW group being more of a design star than anyone else in the BMW group. That could be a problem. Mm-hmm. Or just, that person came with too many conditions. Like I want like total ownership of design. I want to do this. I want to do that. And things that BMW was not willing to, I guess give away, right? And so the problem that I have with like this nomination is that it's a guy that has only worked at BMW. So as far as like experience and design culture is concerned, like it's like really, really limited. And we all know like what is the BMW School of Design right now is making cars that answer J.D. Power surveys and that all look alike, like Audi and Mercedes do. If you look at any Audis or any Mercedes, they all look alike. They're just like either longer or shorter than the other. And if you look at the 5 and the 7 series, the new 5 and the 7 series of the G generation, they really look the same. Like I was in a BMW dealership and I couldn't tell them apart. Like you had to really like look at the length of the car to realize like one was different than the other. And they also drive pretty boring. Like they're pretty boring. Like I drove both of them on the track and on road for 2 days in April, and they were fairly boring cars. So I look at this guy's resume as, BMW School of Design, no exterior design experience, hasn't worked at anywhere else than design. I think like it's, and another thing, Vine is still the he's still in charge of exterior design. So Vine has been working with Gert, been working with Anders. So he's still responsible of exterior design. So you brought in someone that really doesn't have the chops to call the shots, right? Like doesn't have the experience to call the shots. And again, I could be wrong. And they're going to keep continue to do design by committee and pretty much to follow BMW design guidelines, which kind of doesn't sound great to me. And again, I could be totally wrong.
No, Alex, here's to support your theory on this. And I've had a discussion with quite a few people this week. Here's the breakout quote from the press release, and I'm going to read it exactly as it was in here. This is per Adrian van Hooydonk, head of BMW Group Design. Quote, I'm confident the Mini design team under Oliver Heilmer will implement the vision of the brand in future vehicle models and win over many customers. With his design expertise and experience, Oliver Heilmer combines continuity with the freshness and vision Mini stands for. So basically, he's going to implement the current vision, continuing what they're trying to, basically make it a more boring car that appeals to more people, which goes against everything Mini has been for the last 15 years in the U.S. Okay?
Right.
Here's the disconnect from this, and we'll talk about this as it ties to sales, because sales are down 11% again for May, but they're up in the rest of the world. Here's the disconnect, and the disconnect is in the United States. Many, as far as sales go, numbers have been falling since 2013. Okay, so which was their biggest year ever since they started selling cars in 2002. 2013 was a peak, and they've been dropping precipitously since then, and they have more models. Okay, so they're trying to make the car more palatable to a wide audience, yet sales numbers continue to drop. So what does that say? What it says to me is the marketing strategy is not working for the United States. Is it working for BMW? Sure, they're still making profit. They're making good profit as a company worldwide. But it's a big problem when the U.S. used to be the number one market. So what is left to do? What are your guys' thoughts on, okay, I think it's not working. Is it marketing? Is it the car? Is it have they watered it down too much? Is it boring? Is it bland? Yeah. And what appealed to people in the U.S. and what made this the hip, cool car was that it was quirky and weird and design was good, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't necessarily the most premium thing on the market, but it sure was fun. It sure was freaking fun to drive.
Yeah, they definitely need to strip it down a little bit. I know some of the tech stuff is really nice, but it's not necessarily what everybody wants. And there's, the person that wants the midlife crisis car, if you will. I mean, they kind of want something that's a little more raw.
They're going to go buy a Jaguar F-Type,
or a Corvette or something like that.
2013 Mini Cooper Roadster S.
But hey, they're not going to go buy a Ford Focus RS, because all you people talking to me about that can just shut up now, because I've heard that they stopped at 1,500 of those. Yeah, and you can't get them.
We'll talk about that on another show. Keep going, Chad.
But anyway,
one of the things I wanted to bring up on Alex's point was I have quite a few designers that are customers of mine that have all owned Minis throughout the years and multiple Minis, and I have asked some of them why they're in certain aspects of design aspect, and one guy who I liked, I thought he was really talented, all this stuff, and he's like, I really focused my design skills on interior. Because, everybody wants to be the designer that designed this 3/4 shot of this thing and you've got this amount of whatever. But, what I really wanted was a really good long career with this company to support my family and do this and do that. So you can still be a really good designer and not be the exterior designer. You could be a designer of just buttons or whatever based on the interior. Now, if this guy was really good in what he did, he could transfer well into the exterior design.
I agree. So again, like as I preface with all my comments, is that first of all, we don't know any of that stuff. We're just making assumptions, right? And second of all, I could be totally wrong. And when we see the new Mini in 2019, I guess, or 2020, like we're all going to be like, this is amazing. This is exactly what we've been looking for. So I'm just saying that. Based on what I see on paper, it's like looking at a sports team, right? You see the players, you see what they've done in the past, and you're thinking about the future, and you're like, well, that looks not very hopeful to me. And then turns out they do an amazing season because they got the right mix, because people on the inside knew what they were doing and they got the right mix. And so again, I hope I'm so wrong. Like I really hope I'm so wrong. It just doesn't look like it right now. It doesn't look like.
No, it doesn't. It definitely looks like it's going to fall short-ish, based on experience.
But then again, as Todd said, is that like it's really difficult to argue against the numbers that BMW is achieving like everywhere else but the US.
Yep.
They're doing pretty well. I mean, the car is selling. You gotta admit it. The car is selling pretty well.
But the guy's also going to have big shoes to fill, and he's really going to have to come out with some type of really gigantic hit, or he's only going to last 5 minutes, within that world. So
well, it's not only that. I think if sales continue to drop as much as they've been over the last couple of years, since basically 2015, that a couple things are going to happen. We're going to start seeing some mini dealers close, possibly, although, you got to ask the question is, you can't keep good people when a dealer's only selling 15 cars in a month.
They're going to be really grumpy.
They're going to be really grumpy. I'll tell you, from experience being a dealers that only sell, few cars a month, that they're going to be really grumpy. And Brian, I think you're lucky in Seattle that you guys have been doing very well out there. People are probably a little more upbeat. I don't know how many salespeople you have. But I know around here when things get slow, it's tough. Now, granted, the dealer itself is still making money because they're still servicing a lot of cars. And they're really good at service. They're just not making it on sales anymore because they just can't. We don't have the customers. And it's not just local. You look at the national numbers and they stink. They absolutely stink.
No, they do.
And so
it just takes one dealer that's not good at service, though, to be under instantly.
Yeah. And so
on the cars, then they're not doing anything.
Well, like I said, I wonder what the life, and they still sell enough cars to make money in the U.S., but it's by no means. We all looked at we got the whole chart of what Mini's done since 2002, and looking at those, there's a lot of things that stand out to me. Is Mini was selling at the most hardtops about 37,000. Was their best year in 2008.
2008, yeah, 37,000.
Yeah, they basically sold 37,000 cars. And you look now, in 5 months, they've sold 11,000 cars.
To be fair, in 2008, there was only the convertible and the hardtop, and the Clubman. The Clubman had just came out in 2008, and that's it. There was only 3 cars in the range. There wasn't a Countryman or anything else.
But even if you add, let's give it to the benefit of the doubt in 2017, and let's put in the 4-door hardtop, and go between those 2 cars. Mini sold about 7,500 of those so far this year.
Yeah, half the year. So let's double that and say they're going to say. Let's just say we're going to just double it, and we're going to sell 15,000 hardtops.
So that comes out to over 5 months, 18,000 in a year in hardtops, and I'm being generous. I'm combining 2-door and 4-door.
Right.
Okay. That is fewer than they've sold in any year ever. That is the worst kind of. That is the worst. I'm sorry. I just got a message. I gotta move on. That is the worst sales numbers for hardtops. If you combine the two in the history of Mini since 2002.
Yeah, year to date, they've barely sold 18,000 cars.
Yeah, it's half. It's not even half of what it's sold in 2016.
That's for the entire range, including the 8 Pacemen that are sold this year.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they continue on that pace, by the end of this year, they will have sold like 1/3 less cars than last year.
So that's a 30% drop. When basically what I want to say is,
and when the entire lineup has been renewed, by now, like the entire lineup is completely new, right? Like it's only new cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, although the F56, the hardtop, is now going on 4 years old because they had 14.
They're all on the F generation now.
We're about to enter our 5th year of the F56 hardtop generation because it came out in 14, and we're about to roll over to the 18 model year. So we're about to go into 5 years of that. So it's hard to say that that's still new, even though in our minds it is. But
and that's when sales of the hardtop. That's when the numbers really turned.
My point is that light car and truck sales in the U.S. are down overall, all brands. about 5% for the year.
Something like that, yeah.
And Mini's down more than double that. We're in the double digits now for the year. And this is bad. And this is bad for a number of reasons. Everybody say, well, at least we're doing better than Smart. No, don't pull that out of your ass every time you say Mini sales are down and somebody's like, at least we're doing better than Smart Car. At
least Mini's doing better. Actually, I hear that Smart, actually the new Smart I heard is pretty good. Go check out Jalopnik. That's what they were saying.
Yeah. Don't forget to edit out my F-bomb.
Yeah, I know. All I got to edit out Todd's fucking F-bomb. Great.
So,
but anyway.
what DB and Brian think about the design nomination, design appointment?
I'm sorry, Alex. What was that?
The design lead. I want you guys know. I want to know what you guys think about the new design lead.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's a little bit too little, too late. I think damage is already done with the F car. It's going to take not just an LCI refresh. It's going to take like a complete redo, and they're going to have to find somebody that can draw up a car and make it look as close to the R56 as possible to get these sales back,
and
still be safe to crash into people.
Yeah, and as Gabe said in our discussions too, is that we're so deep into what has already been signed off on for Mini and LCI and everything. Our new designer is any kind of impact he's going to have is at least 3 to 4 years away from seeing what.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree.
And we all know car companies, much like Apple, we've been talking about a lot lately, is very reticent to release any kind of information in advance. Now, if we get to see a concept car,
like a mini vision or something,
get to see a vision or a concept car, which we've frequently gotten to do with Mini. They did concepts for the F car, they did a concept for the Paceman, they did a concept for the Clubman.
Superleggera.
The Superleggera is something that didn't come to fruition, but I'm saying the things that did actually happen were pretty close. So I think if we get to see a concept in the next 1 to 2 years, we might hope that there's hope for some big changes. I don't think the LCI is going to be big changes from what we've seen and heard.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
At least as far as looks, I don't think it's going to help boost sales. I don't think the premium aspect of, hey, it's a premium product and it's no longer fun. I cried bullshit on this, that they came out, Mini corporate from the top down, Germany and worldwide. They said we need to rebrand this car back in 2014. That it's too fun, it's too frivolous, and people don't like that people want a more serious car. And now we're seeing the results of it in the U.S. And you're like, maybe for the rest of the world, but the U.S. we want something fun. Give us our fun car back, and we'll start buying it again. Otherwise, sorry, we're going to go somewhere else. If we just need a boring car, we might as well save $10,000.
Right.
That's my attitude right now.
No, you're 100% correct. And it shows. I mean, I'm looking at the sales here. It shows in the sales. I mean, sales really took a serious nosedive actually in 2013, which is right about when the F-56 started coming out, and there was all those production issues. And then the F-56 is out for the all of 2014, and sales were off roughly 50% to 2012. Unbelievable. That should have said something to everybody. They should have went, oh well, yeah, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, I have a 2016 JCW, and I freaking love the car.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Minis ever, but I also have a 2013 Roadster here, which I also freaking love, both of these cars. And here's the problem in the U.S. It's not that the Mini sucks. The Mini doesn't suck. It's a good car. True. Alex, you have a JCW. You have your...
Alex has a couple rattles issues, and Alex is too much of a sissy to go to the dealer and wear his pants to say anything about it. Yes. So we're not going to say anything about Alex's issues with his car. We're going to say that the F-56 is a really good car.
But Alex driven my car, and he liked.
So to DB's point, I don't know if I told you this, guys, but I had 2 people drive down with me from San Francisco to LA. When I did the trip on the Mini, they loved it. They loved it, and obviously one of them sat in the back, but they actually love the car. Like they find it like really nice to drive and it's comfortable and it's fast and I enjoyed it. Like I said it last time on the last show, is that until you actually do a road trip with your car, I'll drive it very often, like every day, which I don't because I only drive it during the weekend. Like it's hard to appreciate because it doesn't express itself like just driving it in the city. but it's a really good Mini for all the design flaws that I see, especially on the front end. It's still like the interior is amazing, the power is amazing, and no, it's a really good Mini. But you know, we're not like BMW. I mean, Mini is should sell to us. I guess they're not trying to sell to us. They're trying to appeal to the greater number, and it's definitely not working in the US.
And here's the tough part, and this kind of brings it full circle that we've basically now proved the point a little bit. Is that it's not that Mini's a bad car, and it's not that it's changed so much that it's no longer fun to drive. It's still a fun to drive car. I still love it as much or more than anything else on the road, especially for the price. For what it is. Now, I haven't driven the Focus RS. I haven't driven, a lot of things that are competitively priced. I did drive a, Subaru WRX. Did not like that in comparison.
Might have had something to do with that giant wing on the back.
I would not buy that and drive that. It had its pluses, but no, I would not buy that over a Mini.
That's for another show altogether.
Yeah, here's the problem: is it comes down to, and I'm starting to realize. It's all about marketing in the U.S. Mini's marketing sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks in the U.S. And what are they doing? They're buying TV spots when the people they're trying to target and the people who really are going to buy this car don't watch TV.
Yeah, I forgot where I was, but I was, I was in a sports bar or something, and I saw an ad for Mini.
Right, it was the Countryman, wasn't it?
I think it was. I'm not really sure. And it was on like ESPN during like a women's softball game. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I thought it was weird. No, I think it was actually regular. I don't even remember. But I just remember seeing an ad for a television. I thought that was odd.
We were shocked. We were watching a baseball game on ESPN not long ago. And it was late at night. It was a West Coast game. Yeah. And there was an ad for the Mini Countryman. On TV,
talk about missing their mark.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like
the Mini Cooper demo is not watching baseball games. I'm sorry, we might watch the occasional baseball games, but I don't think that's the best use of my ad dollars.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's not, but you also have to remember that sometimes a product has to be in your face a lot, or otherwise you don't sell it. I.e., the Snuggie. Millions of people bought that. It wasn't very expensive.
That's what Mini needs.
Well, but it's actually not a bad idea. But Chad, I like where you're going.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's sometimes
and that's
you
why
have to put that idea into somebody's head,
and that's why there's roadside signs. But that being said, TV ad buys are expensive, and I don't.
Oh, they're real expensive. Yes, I mean you can definitely spend way more money on internet or whatever,
And nobody watches the commercials during a major league baseball game. That's when they get up to go to the bathroom or get another beer or they mute it and they're not even hearing it. They might see the Mini emblem, maybe.
DB, that's exactly what happened in our situation. Is I got up to go either make drinks or go to the restroom or whatever, and my lady friend says from the other room, "Hey, look, there's a Mini ad on. You got to rewind this." So I go back on the DVR and I back it up and I'm like, Countryman ad on TV. What do you know? That was a waste.
Right?
I mean, it was a good ad. Don't get me wrong.
Mini should be doing right now like what Casper's doing, like what Audible's doing. Mini needs to find a good high-volume podcast that they can advertise with, and I think that would be a better spend of their money. And I'm not talking about us.
We're not talking about us.
I'm not talking about us because we would not be a good outlet for exactly. We would be a poor fit for Mini Cooper advertising. But an ad is to go over to Twit, or because Leo will advertise if you give him a car, or any of the other podcasts, the tech nerd podcasts. I mean, that would be a better fit for your ad dollars if you're Mini USA than giving money to whoever's putting their ads on ESPN. What?
Yeah. I haven't had TV in a long time, and I'm totally fine without it because there's way better things to do with my life. But I am on YouTube. I'm on various things on the internet.
Right.
And obviously Google does their job when I'm looking for things and stuff. They know how to target myself. So when I'm on YouTube on lunch hour just watching stupid Russian car crash videos, you're seeing Mini Cooper ads in there. And those ads are very good. They're very direct. They're very appealing. They're like, hey, I could go camping in this car. I could do things with my dog. They're trying to play to that person, which is, kind of my age that had the R53 originally, and now we're a little more sophisticated, I'd like to believe, that, we've got, significant others, we have pets, we have things, and we want to do more things than just go to the bar and get drunk every weekend,
Right.
So I think they are trying to make those and get those ads toward that person. I do think, the Google ads, the YouTube videos, those are very high traffic things that are going to be low cost.
But they're not getting people to dealerships to look at cars or buy cars.
Well, and here's the problem with this, and
maybe not, but that's word of mouth.
Yeah,
well, here's my problem with it in general, the marketing push, and this is, I'm just speaking for the United States. If you're listening in other parts of the world, you may tell me different, because I don't see your ads in other parts of the world.
We don't see any of the ads for like the UK, for example.
Right.
Or
I don't see how you're marketed to and what
China
appeals,
or Japan or Germany.
Right, and what appeals to you there. But for me, I think, and this goes to a global marketing initiative for many, is that this car is trying to be everything to all people. And that's where marketing campaigns for any brand fail.
Right.
And they fail miserably, unless you're Coca-Cola.
Right.
Because
or Pepsi.
Everybody drinks something.
Right.
Okay. And whatever you want to appeal to them. Or your Kleenex or something that everybody uses the product. But you're like, well, maybe everybody has a car. No, I think Mini needs to embrace what they are and realize it's a niche company and target at that. They've tried to water themselves down to the point where their car, and we've said this time and time again on the show for the last 5-10 years, is that Mini's designed by committee. They've listened too much to the JD Power results, because
they're designing to the JD Power results.
At the height of sales in 2013, what do? They decide, next year we're going to move the window switches to the doors because people don't like them. It's too quirky.
Right.
You've sold more cars than ever. And what do? And all of a sudden the things start going down. And I'm like, when are they going to figure out this didn't work for the U.S.? When are they going to figure out that was a giant, massive failure, listening to these J.D. Power jackass surveys?
Right.
And I can say that because I've taken 2 of them. I've got the $4 freaking to show for it.
Did you frame those? Did you frame those crisp dollar bills, Todd?
No, I'm pretty sure I bought Powerball
Yes.
tickets from him, and of course didn't win anything. But
Played them at Vegas and tripled your money.
That's true. I might have taken him to Vegas, which then I did do.
Well, that's the exact same thing too. Is like, I really liked the things that the R53 brought to the table. I loved all of the things to it. I liked the design of the R56. I didn't like some of the power plant ideas and some of the reliability, but the overall fit, the function, the work of the interior stuff. Again, a very fine car.
No, R56.
But it was different.
The R56 was not a good car. I will argue anybody that all day long. The first gen R56 until the pre-LCI was crap. That was not a good car, Chad. It wasn't well built.
Reliability.
It wasn't reliable, and it wasn't well built. The car was a pile of crap.
Well,
But if you think about how well it was built previously to the R53s, as far as interior squeaks and stuff like that.
I thought the 2006 R53 was better quality than any 2008, 9, 10, or 11 R56.
I wouldn't necessarily think of that, but what I was trying to get towards was the things that made that car awesome were those like the window switches being in the center stuff. I mean, that really made a ton of sense. And when they went to the door panels, I was like, I don't want this car anymore.
Right. And you know what?
It could have been that small.
I've driven the car for a couple of years. We had a 14. So basically for the last 3 years, I've driven a car with the window switches in the door. I really don't mind. But the problem is now is I have 1 foot in 2 generations, and every time I get out of the car to turn it off, what I end up doing in the Roadster is I reach down and I lock the doors. It's like I go to shut the car off, and I'm like, crap, that's not where the. So your mind does change, and I don't think that's a big deal. But my point is that
that's
quality things aside, the design by committee and looking at U.S. results, JD Power surveys, is a really, really bad marketing idea. You need to believe in your product. And I understand from a business standpoint why Mini made the decisions. But I'm like, holy crap, we're now 4 years into this grand experiment, if you will, and sales have tanked since 2013. at their peak. Am I right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying at some point, and I'm here hoping this, Patrick McKenna, if you're listening to the show, I'm talking to you, talking to Tom Salkowski. This is why you guys are there.
We love you guys.
And is to come back and go, really, guys, we believe in this product. It's a good product. And I'm saying this from my heart. Todd Pearson, White Roof Radio. I believe in this product. It's a good product. I love it. I love my JCW, my 2016 JCW. And it's one of my favorite minis that I've owned. So I'm like, just embrace the quirkiness. Embrace the fact that it's not for everybody. Yeah, we have everything from, a hardtop to a Countryman and everything in between. But it doesn't have to be everything to everybody. Embrace the quirkiness and just do what you do and do it well, and embrace it and just live with that. It's
but so like even so there was one thing to be said though, is that even if the car went back to its root, like we're not even sure like this is the main reason why it's not selling as well as it used to in the US, right? So like it would be, whatever the reason is, like they should act on that reason. And if they can't find a reason, then that's like maybe that, I guess it's a bigger problem than it seems to be. Yeah, if the reason is in fact like the what the car stands for, what the brand stands for, yes, they need to come back to it. Unfortunately, Mini USA has like very little say in those things because going back to the roots, going back to like what the brand stands for, that ties very tightly into design, right? And Mini USA has, I'm sure they have like pretty much zero say in what the final design is going to be, except for maybe make sure there's like enough cup holders for the US version, right?
Here's what I'm saying though, is what I feel like? I feel like an Apple fanboy back in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay. Before the iPhone, when I was a Mac fanboy, and I've always used Macintosh computers, always used Apple products, had the iPods, all of that. And before they really kind of took over the world with the iPod, and then later the iPhone, it was really frustrating because you're like, this is a really good product. Why aren't more people buying this? Why are we like 10th in, as Apple? Why is Apple like 10th in brand awareness in this product and whatever? And I'm starting to feel the same way about Mini. I think they're making a good product. I think, I don't like everything about the design of the current generation of cars, but there is enough about this car to go, holy crap, you guys are marketing this terribly, terribly. If people just knew how great this car was, they would buy it. Get asses into the dealers. Get people to come drive these cars, and don't do it with these stupid gimmicks. Don't do it with TV ads, but figure out some new innovative way. Get people in to drive these cars. Make people evangelists again for your brand, and start selling some cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really quick, just to finish off, I got real money that says Mini doesn't even sell 40,000 cars in the United States this year.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Wow.
That would be really rough.
You said it right here on the podcast.
Mini USA is not going to sell 40,000 cars in the United States the year 2017. Just not. I say happen.
Here's my theory is EVs, they don't break 50,000. There's going to be less than 50,000, which is conceivable considering the drop from, let's say from 2013, and we're going to say this right now, 2013 sold 66,500 cars, and then it's dropping since then. Dropped 10,000 in 2014 to 56, went up a little bit in 14 to 58, back down in 16 to 52,000, and then now this year I think it's going to be at 50,000 or less.
I say it's going to be, well under 50, and I'll be surprised if it's over 40. So that's what we get. So what we're dealing with here, folks. Hope somebody notices sooner than later. It'd be pretty nice.
Because it's not a bad product.
It's a great car, and there's
yeah.
They just need to figure out how to get the Uberers and the trophy winners to go out and buy a damn car.
It's funny because like with all again like the reproach that we make to the car, like I'm already thinking about what I would get after the lease ends, and like I don't see what else I would go buy like other than maybe like a Porsche that I can afford, or maybe the M2. Like probably go back into JCW.
Right.
I'm the same way. Alex.
I like it that much. Like, I like it that much, right? And I'm actually very excited to see what they're going to do with the GP3. Hopefully they make it. Because it's that, I mean, it's when you spec it right, it's that good. It's really that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that I wish you guys could drive my car also. And Brian, I know he's got to drive a bunch.
We need to pay some bills. So finish up your thought, Todd.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and if you could drive the car that I hope to be the GP3, would be basically my car, the way it's equipped with a wing on it. I really do believe it's a good car and it's a fun car, and I wish it didn't cost $42,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, sit tight right there. I'm going to put a temporary pin in that. I want you guys, while we're pinning, I want you to go over, and that's pinning. Keep it clean, folks. I want you to click over to cravenspeed.com, cravenspeed.com. That's where they make and sell the really cool custom stuff for your Mini, right? And not just your Mini. Oh no, folks, not just your Mini. I want you to click over to Craven Speed. You're going to see they've just put up a brand new customer gallery, and you're going to see everything there. You're going to see some Corvettes. You're going to see some Mazdas, some BMWs, a couple Porsches, a couple Volkswagens. They make stuff for a lot of different cars. If you want something cool and something rad for a car that's a Mini or whatever else you might happen to have in the driveway, maybe your wife's car or maybe your car and the wife's car is a Mini, go over to Craven Speed. They have cool stuff. And it's not just like the shorty antennas. There's a dipstick for the Mini. There's dipsticks for other cars. There's the cell phone mounts that are really slick, especially if you're in one of those communist states where you can't hold the cell phone when you drive anymore. And I wish more states would do that. They have really slick mounts for that. They've got the platypus mount. So for those states where you have to have the front license plate, that way you don't have to drill into the front bumper. Really, really nice. Plus, a reminder, too, is if you are rocking the R53, that's the first generation Mini Cooper S with a supercharged motor, the best mod is a pulley. Your pulley you're going to run is the Craven Speed pulley. Get over there and get this stuff ordered. All you have to do is click over to cravenspeed.com. Now, when you go to place your order, I want you to leave a comment. There's a comment form actually on the order form, and I want you to make sure you say, thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. We really appreciate that. They do too. They, of course, being our friends over at Craven Speed. Cravenspeed.com. Please go check them out.
Yes. And can I say something too? Like, if you have Netflix, go watch this series called Abstract: The Art of Design. And even if you're just into cars, it's a great show about design. But episode 5 was about automotive design and kind of focused on the guy who's head of Mazda. And it's a fascinating look into the passion. And like Chad said earlier, somebody who wanted to go work for a company and always desired to work for that company and wants to retire there. And it's a really good show, really good series. You can skip over some of the episodes if they don't, there's eight episodes in the series, but it's called Abstract: The Art of Design. It's on Netflix. It's good.
Nice.
Very cool.
Link for that will be in the show notes, so you guys don't have to actually go search for it. I'll make sure you can click it.
And hey, by the way, can we say this too? I'm just going to throw a little Apple thing in there, DB, since you talked about you wish more people couldn't touch their phones.
Oh, couldn't touch their phones. Yes, I was super excited
iOS
about
11
this.
finally coming out with a do not disturb while I'm driving mode.
Yes.
And I'm just going to make everybody take a pledge right now.
It's very easy to disable because all you have to do is touch I'm not driving. But honestly, folks, listen to Todd. Go, Todd.
I'm going to take the pledge. I'm going to take the White Roof Radio pledge right now.
White Roof Radio pledge.
I'm raising my hand. I'm going to take the White Roof Radio pledge. I'm going to use this when it becomes available.
Same
and
here.
you're going to get a message. If you send me a text or anything, it's going to say, I'm driving. I'll respond when I get back.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be distracted. Because I'm the king of that too. A text message comes in. I'm like, ooh, what's up?
I am not, because I live west of the Rockies, so I'm just got it ingrained in my brain that if I do that, I'll crash or I'll, get a giant ticket.
Or because you ride on two wheels too.
Yeah, and I also cycle, so I don't want to hit bicyclists.
Yes, exactly. Although I saw a bicyclist the other day run a stop sign and almost get hit by a car, and it was like,
well, that's his
sorry
own.
guys,
That's his own
sorry
fault.
guys. I wanted to scream at him. Hey, you have to follow the rules of the road just like
Yes,
you do.
yes, he does.
Give him my number, Todd. I'll talk to him.
There you go. And if you guys want to hear more talk like that, go check out Red Bikes Radio. It's Brandon and I. We talk about bicycling every other week. RideBikesRadio.com.
Thank you, Todd.
Available where finer podcasts are found.
You're welcome. I was pissed at the bike. I
Dude,
never get pissed at
I get mad at people. I actually pulled over once and yelled at a guy for doing that.
I
But
felt
I've
like-
also pulled over and I told a guy that his seat was too low. So
Yeah.
dude, it's a whole
I have totally made DB that guy now.
it's a whole
I love
other
it.
thing. We just can't talk about cycling on White Roof Radio. But yeah,
Instead, what we do, and as many people, is we yell at people for driving their cars incorrectly.
yes. Well,
Yes.
or driving with a phone in their hand. So I'm with
Yeah.
Todd. I will take the pledge. If I'm driving my car, which I do already, and my little thing comes up and says, "Oh, hey, your car's in do not disturb mode, so you can't touch it." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll just make sure that music's playing, podcasts are playing before I start driving. Done and done. I can do it.
Pretty cool.
If I can do it, you guys can do it too. Make it happen.
Not that hard.
It's really not. And get a cool mount.
well.
Make it easy. Todd, what mount do you have? You have the CUDA mount?
Yeah, I have the CUDA USA mount in
So
my car. It's a little expensive. It's like $100.
Yeah,
for
but
the whole
it's slick. It looks like it's part of the dash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really nice, and it's Apple approved that when I snap it in, it also charges and runs all of my data. It hooks
One of
to
my Arizona friends hooked up a quad lock a bracket to it, and then put a quad lock case on their phone, so it works with the quad lock stuff. If you're a quad lock
nice.
user, right, Brian?
Yeah.
So the QD USA mount, it's available on Amazon. Check that out. Go over to Craven Speed, get a FlexPod adapter, do something to put your phone so you can see it, but not put it in your hand.
I just like it because for as little as I drive, when I snap it in, when I drive, it at least charges the phone,
Right.
and I can listen to my tunes.
Yep.
I can use the mini system and scroll through and go, hey, here's a playlist, hit the playlist, and it's really nice. I don't have the Nav system in my car, but I do have Mini connected in the screen, and which now everybody does when you buy a Mini. Everybody gets the same system I have, and it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Pretty awesome. And I can't wait to play with CarPlay. I think I'm the last person on the show, maybe Chad, has not tried
I know what it was.
CarPlay or Android in a car.
I have not tried CarPlay either, Todd.
I haven't played with
Not
it in
yet.
any. I've only played with it in the Chevy Malibu, and in the Malibu, I'm not kidding. It was amazingly awesome.
Amazing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I wonder if all those reseller of iPhone mount, I'm not going to tend to lose business as you have CarPlay more and more across cars. Because frankly, once you have CarPlay, what do you need to hang your phone for?
Right.
You don't.
It's true.
Yeah, you can leave it in your
but there's
pocket.
so
or
many
you can-
things like
Here's the
see that there's a phone call coming in.
until
Yeah,
Apple
that shows up on the screen though. Actually, with CarPlay.
Oh,
Okay.
does it? Okay.
Yeah, until Apple comes out with a wireless charging solution. For me, it's all about, hey, I could use an extra 10 or 15 minutes of charge on my phone. That's going to help me at the end of the day, not get to the, we all know what it's like, right?
One word for you, Todd. Plus.
I have a Plus. I have a 7 Plus.
You have a 7 Plus? Okay.
Yeah, I have a 7 Plus. Dude, I run that battery down all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm looking at the CUDA site right now, and that's actually a really nice unit. And they've got it on the CUDA site for $66. So that's
And then
really nice.
you have to buy the mount with it goes with it. I think you're going to end up spending $100 to $120.
Yeah, by the time you buy the hardware that goes with, okay.
Yeah, my lady friend's got the same mount in the Roadster that doesn't charge. It just snaps the phone in because DB, as you have learned, that you can't unless you have the mini Y connector cable,
You can't
which
charge.
is literally only 3 inches long and sucks donkey balls.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying that now, it really is bad. The
It's
only
awful.
solution is to plug in a USB cable to your iPhone, and then run an aux port out of the iPhone to there. So we've just completely.
But doing that doesn't charge the phone.
Yeah, no, it does charge the phone. It does.
Yeah, but God, not fast
It's
enough.
slow.
It's a trickle charge at best.
So here's the solution that we've gone to in the Roadster DB is Mini sells a little dual USB charger
Yep.
that plugs into the
The
power adapter.
Yeah.
We run that out to charge the iPhone and then use the aux port. Actually, you don't even use the aux port. We just take all of our music and put it on a flash drive.
Right.
And-
Which I just need to do that.
But DB, you've got, in addition to that, you've got a hard drive built into your car. You can load the music on.
Which I haven't even played with yet. I'm a
You
really
have a
bad
40
owner.
gig. You have a 40 gig hard drive built into your car
That'll
that
hold
you
all
can
my
put music on. All you have to do is put it
on.
on a flash drive, snap it in, and go transfer to the car.
I'm gonna play with that. I'm doing it this weekend. I promise. I've been really busy with Anviv and other things, and we'll do a full Hank report next week. I promise.
Yeah, DB, it's like a 40 gig iPod built into your car, and you've got artwork and everything built in because you've got the nav system in that generation. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing that they really don't tout much.
Right.
At all. They don't talk about it at all.
No, it's like
Not at all.
you've got a 40 gig iPod built into the car.
Yeah.
Now, the only way to put it in there is
With a thumb drive.
a flash drive.
Flash drive, but
But it's easy. You snap the flash drive in, and then you just go transfer to car.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't overwrite. It just keeps adding to it. So you can
Right.
keep filling up the flash drive until you're full.
Yeah.
and that drive got smaller in the F cars, Todd.
It did.
Yeah, it went down to 20 gigs in the F cars.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
100, because the 200. Well, it's a total of a 200 gig hard drive if you have a car with nav, and then 180 of it is nav with 20 gigs left over for media.
that's expected because everything sits on the cloud, so they would assume that like you don't need that much space to actually
Right.
Right.
have
Exactly.
any media in your car. Speaking of infotainment, I don't know if you can check this out, but so I'm not sure if it's an iOS update or because I got a software update like the one that you got a few months ago. But since I got that software update, I cannot skip songs with the steering wheel or with the forward or the backward button on the
Is that on Bluetooth or when you're connected on USB?
on Bluetooth. And when I change it from the phone, like it changes fine. But
It's a
like
Bluetooth
hard
issue.
calls,
So
I can't.
That sounds like because that works fine in my car.
Can you do the buttons on the stereo itself, Todd? I mean, Alex?
No, they don't work either. Like the button on the head unit and the button on the steering wheel don't work.
Yeah. On my car, the steering wheel buttons don't work, but on the head unit, they work. So
Now, what
it's
if you
weird. And
connect-
that's only on Spotify. It's not on Pandora, and it's not on Apple Music.
So what if you connect via USB cable?
It works
I need to try it. I need to-
USB, you can use anything.
It works fine because that's the only way. I don't use
Yeah.
Bluetooth audio in my car because my phone's always snapped in and it's it's plugged directly into the
Plug
car.
directly.
Right.
Yeah, which causes its own issues because then it's like, okay, USB audio is disabled, and sometimes it just shuts USB audio off. It basically turns USB to the car off, and this has happened to me since I've owned the car now at least 10 times. I take a picture of it every time it happens, and the Mini basically turns USB off. And I've reported this. I've taken it in for service. They've talked about it, and Mini's response is, "Huh."
That's pretty much the response every time on that.
That's the response.
And you know what?
Huh.
I think we have a show title.
Yeah. Huh. Mini's response. Huh.
That's the best dial ever.
That is. That or I need to buy a Snuggie.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my car does the same thing. What's really funny is if I plug in the USB cable on my car, it disables Bluetooth.
Oh,
It does. Yeah, it should because it knows it doesn't want to compete. It's like, which one of these do I choose? So your Bluetooth still works.
Yeah,
for phone
but
calls.
I don't get audio playback with USB only. I still have to plug in the aux
Yeah.
cable.
Because it's still USB 1. It's not even
Yeah.
USB 2.
I know it's
Right.
It's just dumb.
Oh.
It's just like
right in that generation,
it should ask that even on that generation car, it should still say, "Oh, we see that you've plugged in USB. Are you just charging, or are you going to plug in the aux
Yeah.
cable as well?"
It's
Here's the
not.
cool thing about that generation, both USB 1 and 2 DB. Like if you were to use your iPhone or Android phone for navigation,
Right.
okay, let's say, and you want a turn-by-turn navigation, you don't even have to have nav because basically what the phone does is it makes a phone call to your car. It comes up
Yeah.
like a phone call when it does the navigation announcements. It mutes the audio and it comes over the speakers. And you don't even have to have Bluetooth audio streaming for that to work in a Mini.
So you don't need to have Mini connected for that to work. You just need
Correct.
to have Bluetooth for your phone.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Bluetooth
Oh,
audio.
nice.
Bluetooth.
Which your car does, DB.
Well, my car is Bluetooth audio. I've got
Yeah,
connected,
you
so I've
bet.
got
You have
Bluetooth.
the wired package.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying our Roadster doesn't have a screen. We just have the regular head unit.
Right.
But it does have Bluetooth for calling.
Right.
And if you use navigation and you use turn by turn, it'll basically the turn by turn announcements come over the speakers in the car.
That's nice.
Which is really cool because what it's using is the telephone port, the Bluetooth, like it's making a phone call.
Right.
So what comes up on the screen is like you're getting a phone call from your phone. It's the most bizarre.
That makes sense because if let's say I'm doing Apple or Google Maps, doesn't matter. We'll say Google Maps because it behaves better. I've got a podcast playing in my podcast app, right, which is Overcast. So I've got Overcast playing 99% invisible, White Roof Radio, Red Bikes Radio, something. And then I've got turn-by-turn directions coming from Google. What happens is Google comes on and talks, but while it does is it mutes or stops playback on everything else that's playing. So
Because
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting a phone call.
Yep.
That's
Just
very
like-
interesting, Todd. That's a good observation, man. I like that.
It is a good tip for people even if you don't have
'Cause
navigation in your car.
Yeah, but everybody has Bluetooth in their car since 2007. Bluetooth
What,
for
no?
phones.
Well, not all of them.
No, not all of them. It didn't.
It wasn't standard.
When
No,
did
like,
when did
well-
they make it standard? Was it? I thought it was like at least with the
13,
Clubman. I thought
12
it
or
was-
13.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was
Yeah.
post LCI. I thought it was sooner than that.
No,
For at least
12 or
Bluetooth
13.
audio.
Nobody has a car older than 2013 now. Come on. Oh,
Oh, so Todd,
They're dead. They're
speaking of
junk
nobody
road.
having cars older than 2013.
Cash for Clunkers did away with all those cars, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It did.
for-
Except for Chad. But Todd, the last
Yeah,
show,
it's not mine.
the last show we didn't have Chad because Chad was wiped out getting ready for a spring cleanup party at Detroit Tune and all that. So it was just you and Alex and me and Gabe, I think. And you said that you're the only one that didn't have an automatic transmission car, which was an interesting point because I was also thinking during that show that I was the only one that was driving a non-JCW car,
No.
Also, a good point. Oh,
which was
hell.
what was that? Hello? Did somebody forget
That-
to take their credit card out of the
that-
machine?
That was the point of you not driving a JCW car.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Chad.
So there is something I gotta admit is the fact that I'm not using the reason I don't use the cable is because if the phone is attached to something in the car, I'm gonna tend to look at it, which is a very bad thing that no one should be doing. So
You
that's
are
why I use.
a candidate for not disturb.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
So that's why I put
Poster
it
child
like
for that.
I like Bluetooth audio because I put it in my pocket and I don't look at the phone until I get out of the car.
Right.
Alex like streaming music from his pants.
That is your
Nothing
show.
wrong with that.
And with that, I want to say that I believe we're finished. Good grief.
Alex likes music from his pants.
That's right. I hope everybody had a good time at the Detroit Tune Spring Cleanup Party. Chad already talked about that. Of course, if you're within, a 3-day drive of Detroit Tune, he's already at your shop anyway. Go over to Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. Find all the cool stuff, especially if, you like the work that Chad does here. Pass the word along. You need something to buy something. You need to buy something cool. You need a spare tire for your car with a cool, custom crafted, made with love cover made by Chad's mom. The only place to get that, Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. Go over there, check it out if you would be so kind. And if you're close, Chad's your shop anyway, right? Done and done. I mean, come on now. And then also, too, I want you to remember motoringstripes.com. 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 Todd, everything's caught up? How are we coming on all the boot protector strips?
We are doing very well. In fact, I've just opened it up to Canada and Mexico and started shipping them like mad.
So that's for the Clubman bumper protection strip. Is that correct?
Or anything you want to buy now, you can buy in Canada and Mexico.
Nice. Look at that. Congratulations, Canada and Mexico. So there you go. The Clubman.
Like my own little mini version of NAFTA.
So you can get the bumper protection strip for the Clubman. You can also get it for the Countryman. New Countryman, not yet. Yet soon.
No, it's still not yet.
Still in
and
development.
it's not a matter of desire here. It's just a matter of time. So it's coming.
Okay, got it. So keep an eye out for that. If you're one of the people that I have been pushing to see Todd for the White Roof Radio Sunroof Delete Kit, you need to, this is the motoringstripes.com hack. You live west of the Rockies and you want your air conditioning to work and you don't want sun coming down into your, and blaring into your eyeballs, go over to motoringstripes.com, scroll to the bottom of any page, use the contact form there. You hit contact, and then all you do is you put in your name, your email address, and then you put your subject as White Roof Radio Sunroof Delete Kit. And then you put in what color your roof is, what your car is. Todd will send you a quote and take care of it from there. And then you can have a sunroof blacked out and air conditioning in your car that actually works.
I can tell you right now, it's $100.
Boom, $100. And you install it
$100
yourself.
shipping.
Super simple to install. You need a spray bottle full of lightly soaped water, and you can install the thing yourself in like 10 minutes.
You don't even need water if you do it in the shade.
Yeah, see, there you go. Easy peasy, Japan easy. Go over
No
there.
cutting.
No cutting either. Yeah, it's already ready to go. Literally, you peel it off and stick it on.
Chad's even done these.
Yep.
Wow.
Chad's installed a lot of graphics, to be fair. Come on now.
Chad installs a lot of
Chad installs a lot of graphics. Come on now. Anyway, motoringstripes.com. Go over there, check it all out. Don't forget to the swag things, the really cool keychains and badges and decals, because Motoring Stripes is, of course, the official badge maker of Mini Take States 2016 and Aviv. Those badges were so rad.
Nice.
You got any left? Are they all gone?
I have 1 or 2 left.
I might need one from you. We'll talk offline. That's it. Motoringstripes.com. Boom. Done. Does anybody have anything else? Brian, do you have anything else?
A couple quick things here, just PHEV stuff, really fast.
Brian's been going blind on PHEV stuff. That's the electric.
Yeah, and this is going to be fast because I don't really want to discuss this too much, because one is the PHEV's finally up on the configurator, so you can go and play with it. Mm-hmm. The second thing is that I learned a little bit about what you want to do as far as research before you actually go and want to buy a PHEV.
Okay.
The one big thing that Mini is pushing toward it is the tax incentive. The $4,000 tax credit,
which is set to expire at the end of this year.
Right, and it's also not applicable in California or Washington. And the reason for that is
that was funny.
The motor that was put in the car.
Freeze. You guys hate freeze. No, it's why?
No, well, there's 2 reasons why. One is that the 3-cylinder motor does not qualify for the emissions in California and in Washington, which doesn't qualify that particular motor for the nice little rebate that you're going to be getting, the $4,000 rebate. So other states will call her, but these 2 won't.
Okay.
So
look,
you still qualify for a federal rebate, but not the state in addition to it.
The state rebate, you don't qualify for it. The other is that it is, in fact, only if you owe tax to the IRS will you get to take advantage of that tax rebate.
Correct.
So make sure you look into that seriously.
If you go refund every year, don't even imagine you're
don't think you're going to get money back on top of your refund because of it.
Right.
The other thing is just the sheer amount of charge. If you run this car on electric only, you're maybe going to get 20 miles out of it.
Wow. Or like 13 to 16 or something.
13 to 15 is the mileage that they're saying right now if you run it electric only.
Right.
So make sure you do your research and look at this car hard and fast before you buy it. We have got 6 on pre-order right now.
Got it.
So anyway, and that's it on the PF. I really seriously just wanted to touch it quickly and step away from it and not talk about it again.
And once again, I think it's viable for a lot of people, but it's not for everybody. Right. I have a neighbor that just bought a Fusion plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
And she said, and she drives 6 miles back and forth to work and doesn't really drive much else. And said in the first month of ownership of this car, she got 99 miles to the gallon. And she'd only put fuel in it once.
Wow.
In a month of ownership. So I think you can do that. Like the future does exist for that, and the potential does exist to own a plug-in hybrid. And the Mini's going to be the same. But you have to have a pretty short commute, and you have to drive the car not a lot. Like less than 15 miles a day.
It really isn't. It's not going to be the way it was touted, is that it was going to be the end-all be-all car, because it's not going to be that. If you're a sales rep and you're going to be doing tons of mileage, this is not your car.
No.
It's not even close to your car. So don't spend money on that.
And I don't even think the electric Mini that's coming out in 2 years is going to be that car either.
I agree.
It's not going to have a Tesla range.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a Tesla. It's going to be cool, but it's not going to be a Tesla.
Speaking of, I don't know if you guys saw the 740e that I posted in our Slack the other day, but that car goes the complete extreme. I mean, holy crap, that is a seriously large car.
And it goes 30 miles on the charge?
30 miles. It has a bigger battery pack.
Speaking of Tesla, I don't know if you guys are following the announcements, but as time goes by, like what comes with the car, like there's less and less thing that comes with the car. So it was the range first, which is not as great as the rest. It's then the speed, and now it's the colors and the wheels. Like as time goes by, they're just removing things from the list of options. So
being the Model 3 that's coming out, or the whole thing?
Yeah, the Model 3, yeah.
Yeah, the Model 3 is becoming less and less. Well, what do you expect for $30,000?
I don't know. I mean, that's what it is. That's one way of going about it, and I think like there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is that when the electric Mini comes to market,
don't expect a lot.
It's going to be a tough competition.
Don't expect a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough competition.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. let's. I think with that, I do believe we are done. Brian, thank you for that update. I do appreciate it. It's very nice. I'm looking at this. Don't forget, gang, if you want in on the extra show a month, which is like essentially an extra 2 shows a month, just join us over at the Patreon Club. You can go over there, become a member of the Patreon community. We post the Black Roof Radio shows over there, which is essentially all the pre-show. But this week, we've been making a concerted effort to actually make it something that you want to listen to, not just, Todd saying F words all the time.
Well, and you say that, DB, let's tell people what they get. Like, if you go and you say, listen, I'm going to pledge $1 a show.
Yeah, you're pledging $1 a show. Let me tell you what you've got right now. So you're getting the show.
$2 a month. It's $2 a month.
You're getting the show before everybody else, first of all. You're getting all the Black Roof Radio stuff. You're going to get priority downloads for the Rebel video because I'm actually going to upload that for you guys this weekend. And that's the long version of the Rebel video, and it's the high-quality long version of the Rebel video, not the YouTube quality 5-minute version of it. You get that. Anything new that comes along that's going to start, you guys find out about it first. It's pretty rad. And when you guys upload pictures to the community board over there, those are the ones I look at first for picking pictures for the show art. This week, Rick Roberts' really badass looking coupe with wire wheels. It's dope. That's the picture that you're seeing because he's a member of the community. Go over there, check it out. Patreon.com/White Roof Radio.
And I would like to say that the Black Roof Radio this week was quite nice.
Well, thanks, Chad. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's really nice. You guys will enjoy it. You should definitely worth it. I'm telling you. It's definite. It's Shuttlecast worthy. I'm just saying it is Shuttlecast worthy. But we are done for the week, gang. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for leaving reviews on iTunes. Thanks for checking out the sponsors. Thanks for all the things. We really appreciate it. We're coming up on 12 years. Very strong. Don't forget, if you are looking for a bicycle podcast, Todd was messing around before. Brian and I just cracked the 1-year barrier over at Ride Bikes Radio. New show coming over there in another week. We're just playing catch up. So go over there and check us out. And just stay tuned to other things because there's a lot of changes happening under the white roof very, very soon. Stay tuned. But this is the part of the show where I need to remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback@whiteroofradio.com. But until next week, gang, this is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
See ya.
A bientôt.
Night, everybody.